Sorry for the... I'll put something over the light. I can't get up to turn it off, and they're all on one switch, so even if I did, ooh, I could just put the captions right over it. And that's assuming this is something to be done with. Still working on shaving my head, which seems to be a fall ritual now. I get these really bad fevers, and it's, first of all, it's just soothing with the head pain to be able to, like, coconut oil the shit out of myself. But I get really high fevers, but very localized, and but mostly in here. And now I can just go outside and sit in the snow, and I feel better. This is now almost day 6 of no phone, no internet. I am writing about 10,000 words a day. Oh, Jesus. I don't know that they're good words, but they're words. And I used an analogy I haven't used before, but is so fucking accurate for invasive thoughts. The way I can manage them and keep my peace is I look at it like batting practice. God, I'm so unsportsy, I could barely say it. But it's they just line up for my pen. And I spent about 2,000 words talking about this very painful intersection of childhood abuse and kind of being, I think I was born to be a hermit, a convivial hermit, but a hermit nonetheless. And these two inclinations really do leave me boxed in. Even now that I don't look at it like a product of self-loathing or hatred. I love living in this body. I might not like looking at it, nor, the kind of ghastly things that can happen when you got digestive issues, but you persevere. And I am very good at balancing pain and everything else. And finding it. I do weight the scale, but I'm able to find gratitude and joy. But it's a narrow thing. And I can likewise dig my roots deep in this understanding it's actually not me on any level anymore. I had worked with, God, she gave me the best, the title of something is The Impossible Poet. But, I worked with somebody for almost 10 years, and they truly have thought this whole time that when I talked about meditation and poetry and hiding in art and transforming through art, that I was just joking or delusional. And she literally came out and said it was impossible for someone like me to be here, which is confusing, because I'm here. Fucking hurts. I can't even tell you how bad the throat's been. But at this point, it doesn't matter what my condition. I'm not gonna get help. I have been to so many people who just look at me now before I take a mask off and say I'm a liar. So it helps understanding I'm impossible. It means it's not a failure for me, but it's a failure of their imagination. And for some reason, even though the outcome's the same, I'm cold and snowed in and getting low on groceries. Even though the end result's the same, it's a little easier to bear. And I have been loved. And I have learned to love every single breath as it comes in and it goes out, because I've had to sit on top of them for 3 years or more. Every exhale ends with this profound yes, begging the air back in. And that's kind of the scale of my life. This is the puddle of light I talk about in a strange way. Usually it's a book light and a piece of paper and a pen. But I'm using my voice while I have it. And I am so blessed. I've been listening to a book. Oh, I've already forgotten the title. But it's talking about beauty and race and, oh God, I shaved my head from, I really shaved it for the fever, I swear to God, but I was still a nice fuck you to my ancestors. Immediate ones especially. I can remember as a kid, my mother's passing as white, my parents' marriage would have actually been illegal, as he told her repeatedly. But I was proof of whiteness with his blonde hair that you can't see because it's gone. Well, halfway gone. I can only lift my right arm for a little while, so it's a days-long process. But it is a beautiful meditation on what I have that my ancestors wanted so desperately, I think, and never could get. And why I think I have fought off 4 foreclosures and struggled so hard to stay here. Because what I built is a safe home in which I am treasured just as I am, in which I am beloved and a priority, and my comfort is a goal. And after what is untold generations of my black and white ancestors both being so fucking destroyed by the world enslavers and colonizers and, just average dicks in my genealogy helped create. They are all very disappointed. I wrote a play about I'm such an active dreamer. I always have been. And when my mother made me swear on the family Bible to never write poetry or drama again, lest I be detested by the ancestors, well, I still wrote a poem. I went to my room and wrote a poem. Just wrote it in Spanish so she'd never know. I have had this theme of ancestors through my whole life because of my mother passing, because of the story behind it. I wrote a book about it if you want the CV of suffering. It's actually called It Ends Well, because then and now I am unmovable on this point that right now, and it is fucking grim. I have no Wi-Fi. I have no phone. I have no idea how I'm gonna keep power and heat on. It is grim on a lot of very objective levels. And I'm still fighting to stay where I can be at peace and I can matter. And my voice, even on the nights it's failing me, can still make its way onto poem and into painting. I was able to give myself what they had wanted. A life where I matter, where no amount of fat or disability or being the impossible poet, that she worked with me for years, listening to me talk about meditating fiercely and creating this practice in art, and never, ever thought any of it was real. It breaks my heart. I've been crying on and off about that for days. Just pure grief. And I still get to live here in my loving. Yeah, I turned on the puddle of light. I am paying for the electricity to give me my puddle. But that doesn't make the fact that I am drunk on my loving for this breath any less real. I had to cry for a second. I'm gonna go and treat invasive thoughts like batting practice and continue trying to figure out how I survive housebound and in this much pain. It's a farce. There's gonna be a way out of it. It's not a tragedy, that much I'm certain of. There's too many opportunities for getting the light for it to be a tragedy. And that's what I was trying to say before I cried. It ends well, because I'm gonna be fucking determined that it does. And I can only do that by being able to accept all the good and the bad. And as much as I wish I could spend more time just purely and blessedly, like in the moment, I was deeply wounded, and I am not apparently possible, so it requires practice. It requires vigilance. It requires me not losing myself in how much I love other people and their stories. I have never been able to live with someone and not put them so far above my needs. And I know that that is a fault in my character. I know where it comes from. I can even give you a medical diagnosis as to why it's probably more profound in me than it might be otherwise. But it created a life where I think from fairly early on I could understand that I would possibly end up as a hermit. Sorry, I'm gonna cry again. Hold on. Okay, I think we're back. Should have watched the previous video. I think brevity is gonna do it. I am able to construct this moment as I do a poem, as I do a painting, picking from sensation what I can use to stay in flow in poem. I am I was the redheaded stepchild of those mystics I read about as a kid, and thought, that's interesting. That might be a place to go. But I am frequently here when God hates me. I am unable to find a saga in any religion because I'm annoying. And I admit all of that. But in the end, it's really this forgiving myself, this inability to not lose myself in others and to not feel challenged when people tell me that I could not be peaceful and joyous and grateful and wanting the next breath so badly. I'll struggle for it in this life. But that doesn't mean it's not true. And I don't even care about y'all so much. There are going to be days I need to remember that.